Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am your host, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and this is episode number 133. And welcome everybody to Mars Venus Week. This week we will have 4 episodes of our program. Is today, tomorrow. We'll be off on Wednesday, but we'll come back for Thursday and Friday. So looking forward to it. I'll give a little more information about how those shows are going to go as we go on. But I am joined by my beautiful and talented co-host, the one and only Shannon Ford Jefferson.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. First, I want to start off with those, a lot of people who know you're from Florida. I had people that you don't even know that was wondering, are you okay and whatnot. Can you just say for those who are not sure?
I'm good. If you are paying attention, Hurricane Dorian is not yet on our coast at the moment. Doesn't mean that it won't get there, but I think it's still wreaking havoc on the Bahamas, unfortunately.
So, and I'm sure, like, to the best of your ability, you'll let the public know, right? How you're doing.
I mean, I already kind of gave a PSA on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly let people know, but do not question whether or not I choose to stay, because I'm an adult and I can do what I want.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I mean, no one would question that. We just want you to be safe.
That is why I made the PSA, because people are questioning my intelligence about staying. I'm like, you don't even know where the hurricane is going. You've never had to evacuate from a hurricane ever in your life. I'm going to need you to sit down and say a prayer and stop worrying me.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I just want to make sure that you're good, and I'm glad that you've let us know that you're fine. And,
yeah. I mean, definitely pray for the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever path of destruction that Dorian will go on next as it creeps on down the road. Pray for those that are going to be in the path and that will even experience the outside of the cone effects of the hurricane. Because just because we may not get a direct hit doesn't mean we won't experience heavy rains and strong winds and tropical storm effects from the residual.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you're good, and I'm looking forward to this program tonight.
Yeah.
And tonight we are talking about simping. And
I didn't even know what that was.
We talk about simping, pimping. So let me pull up the dictionary definition of simping so that, I don't want to just talk out of my own butt. It says, this comes from that great source, the Urban Dictionary. When a guy or girl are sprung on someone or something, and it says, "Damn, that girl I met last night got me simping." So, I would say simping is even deeper than that.
Okay.
Because, like, sprung, you can be sprung on somebody and not be a simp, right? You could just be like, "Oh man, I love this girl. I can't stop thinking about her. She's always on my mind." Or if a woman could be like, I just love this dude. I'm always thinking about him, right? Mm-hmm. That's not simping. That's just you infatuated or in love. Right. Or not, I wouldn't, maybe not so necessarily in love, but definitely in extreme like at this point, especially if it's early on.
Yeah, could be.
Simping to me is a lot more dangerous. Okay. And that's
it's
when
like used.
Yeah, in a way, yes. So it's like, okay, man, I really like Shannon. She's amazing. She's this and that. And oh man, her bills are late. I got you. Oh, you need some new shoes to go to work. I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's when you
bill part.
That's when you not only are the infatuation, but you use your finances to try to garner more.
I'm just saying, Raquel said she's not hearing anything wrong here.
Well, it depends on if you this. We didn't say necessarily it's right or wrong, and I'm sure Dante will have some thoughts on this too. Who just walked in there?
Hi, Dante.
I guess it's whether it's right or wrong is it's the eye of the beholder or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, anytime when you feel like you need to financially, like, it's not enough that I love you or I like you a lot, but then my money needs to button it up to add to it. That can be problematic, right? And a lot of time, real simps, they not really with that person like that, right? So, like, for example, if you in a relationship, yeah, you can be a simp to a certain degree and just trick off money to the chick you with. But the worst simps are the ones who they ain't even got her locked down like that, and they trick off their money, you know? So what I want to do is we're going to talk about it from all kind of different angles, but I want to talk to you, Shannon, about, I don't know if in your experiences, have you ever had a dude? Really? You've never had a guy try to buy your love?
No.
Wow.
No, not at all.
That's interesting. If it, Marty has stepped out. I was going to ask her that question too, and same thing with Raquel. Okay. Don't try to impress or buy love.
That part, I'm not interested.
Okay, so let's talk about, in your estimation, what is trying to buy love? What's that line between, you know what, I'm just a nice fella and, you know, I'm generous, and maybe I'm a simp and I'm trying too hard. Is there a line?
I think for everyone there is, and only you would know what that is, because for what may be a line for me may not be a line for you. We all have our different strokes of boundaries. I just think that they should be content with who they are and not what they can give you. And just like you should be content with who the person is and not what they can give you. Like, some people just feel like they have to buy you to make you like them or appreciate them or love them, and I don't think that's necessary or appropriate, because if I'm liking you based on what you can give me, what happens when those things stop?
Right. I understand it from this point of view, and believe me, I'm not saying I would practice in this behavior. Wait, hold on a second. If you get the vibe that he expects something because he paid for something, that doesn't work. That's not the best. Honestly, that makes more sense. The quid pro quo, that makes more sense than the guy that expects nothing and gives.
Oh, I mean, and that goes both ways. Because I told somebody, if I take you out to dinner, I'll get the draw. Like,
you in these draws.
Like,
hilarious.
Reciprocity is real, and if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So if I treat you, just know you're giving it up.
Oh, okay? And you ordering from that side of the menu? You definitely giving it up. Hilarious.
What's happening at the end of this event?
That's funny. Hey, what's up, Free? What's up, Free?
Hi, my brother.
I mean, I understand it like this way. I understand it like this. I understand the mentality is we pay for what we want, right?
Right.
You like designer tacos, and I'm a probably I'm gonna probably seem like a Baptist minister, because I'm gonna probably be patting myself because I'm sweating here, and I know that's not cute at all, but I don't care right now because I need one of those towels. You know, like how how some ministers they be in it and they be like, you know.
I need to get that on a shirt. I love designer tacos. You hope right now. You really get me. I appreciate that.
You know we miss you, Steph. Everybody misses Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
And we can't wait for you on Friday, by the way.
Hi, Ryan.
Friday can't come fast enough. Okay, so you come off to me as a woman who is willing to pay for what she wants, right?
Yeah.
So you like your designer tacos. You'll probably pay a premium price for it, right?
For a designer taco?
Yeah.
A good designer taco now. Come on, you got to put the right qualifier in there.
Right.
Because all designer tacos are not good.
Right. Stephanie, I'm sure she likes designer shoes or maybe bags. She probably is willing to pay a premium price for it. Free likes designer guns.
Yep.
I'm sure he's willing to pay a premium price. So the mentality of a dude.
Hey, it's some banging
hilarious
shoes in my old boss's closet, and I said, as soon as you declutter your room, I need them shoes off you. Okay, so yeah, that's the right brand for me. Thanks, brother.
So the mentality of a guy who is a simp is, I like premium women, right? Or I like a woman, period. And I'm willing to pay for my designer gun. I'm willing to pay for, whatever it is. And they may rationalize it as premium pussy, right? Also a paymaster. The way that they may see it as, this is the price of doing business. But that's if they think about it that deeply, right? Actually, I almost give props to somebody who can actually rationalize it there. But I think it's more of an emotional thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, I want Stephanie, I want Marty, I want Shannon to like me. You know what I mean? So maybe if I get her some designer tacos, maybe if I get that Michael Kors bag that Stephanie want. I don't know what Marty want. What kind of stuff that I don't know what Marty likes. What would her thing be? Some women are simps too. I paid for a couple of times. That's true. We're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about women who are simps too.
I'm buying for you.
So I don't know. Like they pay you for dick. Hilarious. Let me say this though, is like, I think there's something inherent in most men. We like to spoil our women, right? I think men, my God, I think a lot of us decent dudes, we love that, right? We love the look on our woman's face when you've done something and she loves it and blah, 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 right? But this idea of simping is like, you going over that, right? And a lot of times, like I said, it's not really your woman or your man, So is all simping bad simping? Like, the shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Hilarious. Do we give simps a bad name? Like, maybe we should go easy on it, They're good for the economy or for the ecosystem,
If somebody chooses to be generous in that manner and want to give away their money, and the person they're giving it to is okay with that, that's their business.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't gonna do with me.
All right, so let me ask you, a guy that you ain't really feeling. You don't dislike him. He's a decent human being, but he's not somebody you want to lay down with. He's not somebody you want to be in a relationship with. But he like you. He like you, and in his perfect world, you guys got that white picket fence together.
Right.
You're his dream girl, right?
Okay.
And
what's the catch?
So, and you don't want to be with him really like that.
Okay.
You might have even told him. And then something happens where your car is getting repoed.
Oh,
and you ain't got you don't have the money. You don't have it. right? But here comes Simpy McSimperson. He's like, he says no strings attached. Right. It's $800, $1,000, whatever. I'll pay it for you because I don't want your car to get repoed. Do you take it from him? No, and he might have said no strings attached, but there's some strings.
If I was at the point where my car is getting repoed, I need to look at how I'm managing my money, first off. Second, if I really needed it, I would probably call my uncle and take it from some guy that I'm not, because I'm not attracted to him and I'm not going to use him.
So you wouldn't take?
I said probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
So the car is not being repossessed, so thank the Lord.
Well, yeah. Let me ask the women in the chat room. Press a 1 if you would take the money. Real talk. I'd rather pay him back in pussy than $800. Wow. Well, let me get my checkbook.
I knew that was coming.
Let me get my checkbook. All right. She might be one of the few people that. Steph might be one of the few people that can get away with a pussy payment. Okay?
I mean, you know what, Sam? Now that you put it that way, if I ain't got to pay it back, I might need to reconsider that thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Hilarious. I'm not going to even read that out loud.
Man, I'm not either. I get it though.
But is it wrong though? Is it wrong for a woman to take?
If that's the agreement that y'all make, like, it is what it is. Like, take it. Feel free if that's what you feel like doing. Who am I to judge?
I don't know. I mean, real talk. Do you take money from someone you don't feel like that?
I don't.
Or things.
Nobody's ever offered me money like that. So, first off, I don't even know what that sounds like. But when they do, I might have to think about it.
You got to think about it, huh? If they keep on assisting, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Now, somebody's going to call me and insist to pay off my student loans. I'm going to let them. What do I need to do for that?
Is it worse for a guy to do it? Wait, I took some money for a phone bill too.
She said she wouldn't get with him, but she would go and take that money.
Uh-huh. So, is it worse for a man to do it, or is it the same?
I think it's equal. I don't think it's gender specific as to what's worse. I think it's the motive behind, okay, I take it, what am I going to do now? Like, sometimes that's the problem.
So Dre, if you're there, and Ryan and Dante as well, desperation knows no gender.
There you go.
Has anybody ever stopped a friend from simping or tried to say something, open their mouth, like you simping too hard?
I know of.
Would you say something? Your homegirl, you feel like she's simping on a guy?
No, I tell her I wear size 8.5 shoes if he's getting shoes, because I ain't take it. But if you want to pass it on over to me, but I don't know nobody doing that either. So it's like, what's wrong? If I know some like girls that give guys stuff and guys are my friends, so you really don't want that. You should just give it to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, have I ever been a simp? I've been generous before. You know, I can't say I've been. Yes, I would tell her not to simp.
Simp is easy. Don't be hating on nobody's simp card.
Is that bad business too? Is somebody got is it bad business if your friend or if you step in there and try to mess up someone else's simp game? Is that breaking some kind of rule? Yeah, hater. Is that hating?
I I mean, it depends. Like, if it's my closest circle, we may have to have a discussion about why they feel they need to do that in the first place. Because there is a fine line between being generous and being used. But my friends don't necessarily have that struggle. Like, they're not interested in being nobody's ATM.
So, okay, let's go to the factors that make people into simps, right? So let's start with a woman, because we've been talking a lot about guys. So what would make a woman be a simp over a guy? Is it strictly dingling?
Maybe she's trying to build her man up.
Is that what mainly gets women to go simping on a dude? Is he's hitting it right? Is that the number one factor? Is it that he's...
Maybe we should call Anthony to the stage, because he said he got some stories. He might have an answer.
He's usually dangling the relationship care. Oh, dangling. Dangling. Woo. I can't say it.
Okay.
Dangling.
Okay.
Not dangling, but dangling. Those I didn't realize how close dangling and dingling are.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna need you to
dangling the dingling. Okay, so the relationship carrot. Really, that's something. And yeah, we're gonna ask in a minute. We're gonna ask Free to hop in, and if any women too. Like, so would a relationship carrot get a woman to simp?
It might. I mean, give her to give up the draws.
Okay, you a woman. You a board certified woman.
Board certified.
What makes you just want a dude? Like, where you just like, man, this guy does it for me. I want to be in his space. Is it because he's cute? Is it like, what are some factors?
It's a combination of things. I think it's character, intellect, looks don't hurt either, personality, conversation does it for me.
Okay.
And help that he's not like totally in all of his eyeballs and dead either.
And that'll get you where you're over. Like, I just want to be with this dude.
I'm attracted. You have my attention. I don't necessarily say that I just gotta be with this dude.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think people don't say that out loud, but
I mean, even in my head, I like everybody, so anybody could on
y'all
essence
too deep.
Get it.
People, like, I love it. She says, y'all too deep. Most people are looking for romance, good sex, and charm. That's true. I would not feel like a man if a woman was simping and buying me things. And I'm an independent black man. I don't need no female. Wow. Oh, this is Olaf. Welcome, Olaf, in the house. Olaf is in the house.
Right. Thank you, Steph. Woman.
Is it a turnoff if your man, you find out your man's last woman was simping hard on him and he was taking all the gifts that came with it?
I mean, everybody's got a past.
He's like, you see this Ford Focus right here? My last girlfriend paid for it.
His Ford Focus.
You see this this diamond watch? My last girlfriend, she took care of that.
Yeah. Again, people have passed, and mine isn't perfect. So I mean, case by case basis. Right now, today, in the moment, I'm gonna have to say probably not. But I don't know. I don't know the extent of that relationship of them being recipients of someone simping. I don't know.
Stephanie says simps are a turnoff, which I believe that. I believe most women are turned off by men. They may take the shit that they give them, but they don't. Most women, I feel like, don't like a guy that feels like he has to buy their love and affection, right? They'll take those trinkets, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's something chemical sometimes when you meet a woman or when a woman meets a man where they just feel like they need to be with that person. Sometimes a simp doesn't present the required friction in relationship for things to actually work. Amen. Gabe, what's up, Gabe?
Can we give a shout out to the people?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Giving shouts out to Gabe, who just arrived, and Olaf and Mary and Steph. So Steph is bringing all the comments, her and Raquel and Anthony, actually. Ryan and Drake. Hi, guys.
Let me ask Steph a question. If a guy paid your rent for a year, prepaid, it's taken care of, is that a turnoff?
And student loans for a year?
Let's say you are, but I wouldn't say that you're doing backflips. No, we good. Does he lose it if he's like, you know what, I'm gonna pay your rent for a year? I wish I could do that though. By real talk, if I had money like that, just paying somebody's rent for a year, that means I'm doing real good, right?
I wish somebody could pay my student loans for a year. If you find one of them, send them my way.
Dang, someone get me to pay their rent for a year, man. I must be in love, right? Now, if he knows I don't want him and he's still trying to pay, he's a simp. That's right. I agree. Real talk. Any guys or girls in this chat room ever been simping? Simp. If you've been a simp, press 1. If you've never been a simp, press 2. 3. 2. Or mildly. I've probably done a little mild simping when I was a young man. Didn't know any better.
But it's at that half hour mark. We gonna bring Free in so we can hear all his stories.
Yes, let's come in. Come in, Free.
Yeah, he said you can simp in a relationship. Come on, sit in one of these chairs, though.
Yes.
What up?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's popping on here, man?
Look at you and your little blue light.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's green tonight. You know what I mean? Give me the green light.
Okay, well, come on.
What's his name? John Legend, right?
Facts. Yeah. 3 stacks, all of that. Yeah, man. So let me just jump right in with the simp story, and this is relatively recent. So, yeah, it was a chick that came over. She came over under the guise of friendship, and I was in a little rough space, for a couple weeks or whatever. But she called me and asked me, how everything was going or whatnot. So, I kind of gave her a little insight of what was happening with me. So she was like, "I'm gonna pull up." I'm like, all right. Now, the brief backstory is this woman and I, about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, were briefly involved physically. But it didn't go beyond that because she decided that she wanted to date and kind of be off the market and things of that nature. To which I told her, again, a year and a half ago, that, if you want to date, please, by all means, go date. I'm not in that space right now, and I can't give what I would require myself to give in a relationship. All right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna hold you. I can't ask you to wait because it would be unfair. I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to get to the place where I need to be. And so the very next day, she said, "Well, is it wrong that I want you more?" After that conversation, I'm like, it's not really wrong, but it's how you feel is how you feel. So a year and a half goes by, and several attempts and sexual advances later that I've denied on every single occasion. I either was oblivious on purpose or accidental, or really was all the time on purpose. Like, I know what you're trying to do, but your pussy comes with strings, and I'm not trying to be. I don't want you to be my Geppetto, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
I'm not your puppy.
So, she decided to come over, and she came over under the guise as friends, or just cheer you up and so on and so forth. All right, cool. Well, in this space, after a year of me denying her advances, I felt like, you know what? You want to come over, you want to cook for me, why not? I'll let you cook for me. You want to, massage, give me a back massage or whatever the case is, Why not? I'll let you do that. You know what I mean? I know what you really want, but I'm still not giving it to you. And I feel like in that regard, she was simping because if for a year I have not touched you,
Mm.
and I have been diverting or neglecting these advances, I feel like at this point it's not. I'm not wrong because I've been nothing but forthright and upfront and transparent with where I was and how I feel. And even I think the prior weekend before she came over, she had come over that time, but she was in a whole relationship. Now she ended up finding out the dude that she was with was married, and so that's a whole other story. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But so now that she came back, it was like, let me try to woo you, because before she was trying to say how we just made sense and I just. She told me in a kind of a drunken stupor, look me in my eyes and tell you that you don't love me. And I felt like I was in a bad BET movie. Like, what is this? Like,
Oh, not
you're like, what
BET.
is this? What's happening right now? So, nah, she was definitely simple. But then I've also had it on another occasion, when I was a little bit younger, young tender, an older woman, straight out, flat out, offer me cash. Like, how much will it cost for me to get that D? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never monetized myself in that regard. I
Oh
don't
wow.
know. Like when you come up with a number, you let me know. I got it. I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about this. This is so yeah. And then, I mean, it's a few other stories, but I'll just keep it at those for now. And they be out here, man.
And you
Simpsons everywhere.
and you don't have to declare those funds either.
I don't. And Olaf, no, I didn't. I did tell her though. I was like, as far as me saying whether or not I love her, I was like, I never allowed myself to get that far. I can't tell you that. And then she tried to recover and say that, well, I don't mean like in love with me. I mean like as a person. I was like, I love you as a person, as a human being. Yeah, like I care for you in that regard. Like, but as far as being that I love you more and romantically, nah, I never allowed myself to even get to that point. So I can't tell you that.
when when a girl when a girl tells you she loves you and you're not there yet, you know, I always say she'll be like, "I love you," and then she'll be like, "You love me, right?" And then I'll be like, "Of course I love you. I'm a Christian. I love everyone." But men are more complicated than bitches.
I don't think that's true, man. I don't think that's true for myself. I'll put it that way. I can't say for the entire male species, but I will say for myself that I will be in a space that it's necessary. I will be transparent in how it is that I feel, and allow you to know where I stand and what my particular expectations are and or aren't. And with that, you will do what you will. And I think with that, she did what she wanted to do. She had a motive, a desire, and what she was focused on was her motives and desires, and a lot less on what it was that I was saying in my particular position.
Mm.
So it's like I want what I want, and that's what that is. But I'm like, okay, you can want what you want, and I don't take that away from you. But also, because you want something does not mean that I have to adhere to what it is that you want. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I am also an individual, autonomous, all of these other things that I value and appreciate. Just because you want it doesn't mean I want you or want the same things that you want. So,
Yeah,
Th-
that's
you know,
maybe you might agree with me with this, Free. I was saying to Shannon and Stephanie and some of these ladies that be in here that simps are so easy to find. There's so many desperate ass dudes who, like, y'all leaving money on the table. Because how many thirsty ass dudes have you come across that would gladly pay Shannon's bills? Would they would sit there? You could stop working, and they're
right?
everywhere.
Just to smell your panties.
And you wouldn't have to do nothing.
where he at though? Because I got some student loan debt that I need paid off.
Hey, it's plenty of them in Atlanta. Come to Atlanta. It's plenty paymasters out here.
I'll be there in October. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's plenty paymasters, and yeah, you're right. It is dudes out here, and I kind of was the juxtaposition because I was like, nah, I refuse. Nah, I'm not gonna allow you to play me like that. Like, and plus, there's plenty of dudes out there that'll pay whatever you want them to pay. You wanna You want a Rolex? You want some Ferragamo, some Fendi? You want some Bulgari? You want whatever it is? I ain't really interested in women.
Yes.
It's good.
Hey man, I don't really know many dudes that's not interested in women, but that's the particular circle that I run in. So,
Right.
uh, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that I've seen plenty of paymasters that are willing to just for to smell it. You ain't even necessarily got to do it. You can string them along because I've seen it happen far too many times, especially with the names in the phone. Oh, this food bay. This is mechanic bay. This is whatever. You know what I mean? They got a different nigga for a different situation. You know what I'm saying? So. Like,
Oh my
or
God.
you got a dude named Arby's because he has the meats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So,
Oh my God.
You know what?
hey,
I'm gonna start hooking women up with paymasters, and I just want my little percentage, and I know
yeah.
because these guys, like women, when women say where these guys at, I'm like they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
There's dudes who
I
would.
Because I do need to pay off these student loans.
Sometimes if you just went out with them a couple of times a week, especially them old players too.
The one you
Man.
just gotta go out with.
Yo, I'll tell you where some are too. If you go to the Ethiopian community here in Atlanta, so go to East Side in Atlanta. These guys, I've been a beneficiary of these paymasters because I was cool with the pretty girls that was the waitresses or the bottle girls or whatever the case is, and I had a homegirl that invite me out. When I tell you, I got twisted, and I didn't pay for not one drink. I had to go away separate to pay for my own drink so I could salvage. So I wouldn't feel like a bad bitch, like, cause I feel like why is this nigga buying all of my drinks? You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't smashing or touching or smelling nothing from none of them women. It was just so that he could be out with pretty women.
Right.
And he bought bottles, Patron, Hennessy. And like if I accidentally bought a bottle in a club once. It's cause the server got me. And it was really got us. I didn't buy it by myself. That bottle of black Hennessy was like $4.50. So you telling me this man bought this bottle of Patron, couple $100. That one club we went to he spent $600 there. We left there and went to 2 other clubs, and he was footing the bill for all of this. Now, I thought a couple things. One, where do you work and where are they hiring? Because I don't know where you get all this disposable income from. Like, 2, are you smashing anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. And the other one, I was like, well, hey, man, I hope you're not looking at me for a reach around, because I'm definitely faded out here. But if you go to the Ethiopians, yes, trust and believe, you will get twisted. They will pay whatever you want them to pay.
And you got that look too, Shannon, that they be liking. You got that look too.
Okay. Well, first stop on October 31st.
I will take you to my Ethiopian spots out here.
There you go.
Do it.
Here's Nigerian men pay. It's in their culture and pay for everything. That's true. Here's another thing. Now, you can probably say this from the pit of hell, what I'm about to say. But there's another woman that gets a lot of simping towards them, and that is the side chick. This chick simping. And a lot of times what happens is a guy got his main woman, and he got kids probably, and he can't be with you all the time because he got work, he got his wife, whatever. So a lot of times them cats will throw more at you because to make up for that time and stuff. You know,
I would say it's 3 things. One, yes, some are simping.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, yes, you're also right that it's not simping necessarily, but it's just kind of to make up for the time, to pacify you in the meantime. But 3 is those type of dudes is really keeping you on a retainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like having a lawyer. I don't necessarily need a lawyer 24 hours of the day, but when I need a lawyer, I've already paid my retainer, so I need my services fulfilled. And then the 4th thing, some of that is hush money,
Right.
because it's like you don't keep this up, I'm gonna tell your wife, your church, your whoever else. I'm gonna send it to your kids' school, all that. So it's like that fourth one is hush money. So it's definitely different degrees in those, but some of them are on retainer. And shout out to stuff like retain me.
Look,
Oh,
if you get a couple of them, well, one sometimes can do the trick. You get a couple of them, man. There's ways you can navigate life and not have to do shit in this world. What's up, Dad? And happy birthday. It was recently. But I mean, those guys simp, like you said, a retainer, and the cost of doing business, as Stephanie calls it. And if you can get it out your mind, the whole, is he going to leave his wife? Man, fuck that. You could, look, you a young woman and you trying to glide through life. If he wants to play, he got to pay. You could think about it like that. Angie.
well,
So,
I don't need to think about this whole wholesome adjacent act to just be adjacent, because I'm like, I'm about to get paid.
Yo, when I say these chicks be driving, because I'm like, yo, I know what you do for a living. There's no way you can afford this car. There's no way you can afford, and some of them don't even be that cute. It's just they like marginally cute.
right.
And it's like, yeah, because you in this particular industry or running in these circles or whatever the case may be, it's like, man, I've seen it happen far too often.
Winning.
It's ridiculous.
Winning. Even in Atlanta, a place where the men have a huge advantage, if you have that kind of mentality, you don't even have to be that fine. If you have this mentality and know how to work the system, you could run things.
And I see it happen all the time. So even when I worked like club security in different places, I worked from strip clubs to regular hookah lounges or whatever the case is. I've seen women gorgeous with mediocre, average, and less than average aesthetics. But because they got that bread, they got that paper, then it's like, oh yeah, I'll be on your arm, and people will know you're only with him because that nigga got bread. He's a paymaster. And but I don't know so much if the advantage is really true, because the ratio is supposedly like 20-1 or something like that. But then you have to factor in the LGBT community, and that reduces the ratio substantially, I believe, because these dudes are out here looking for the same thing I would hope to run across.
Right.
So
they Malik Yoba in it.
But if I was a gay man, I bet you I could be having my bills paid right now, because it's some gay paymasters too. Like, I've seen them cats out here shelling out bread, and I'm like, yo, y'all are wild.
A dude have to pay for dingling? Like, that's funny, man. You would think that just grow on trees. What that dude who's gay that has to pay for it? Damn.
I mean, but everything out here is status. So you got to think about the sense of I guess this Black Hollywood, or this fake it till you make it era. A lot of times you might not be paying for their person, you're paying for their status.
That's true.
It's the clout chasers. You know what I mean? So, and you simp for clout, you simp for whatever, but I think if you're simping for a reason or for an equitable return, I don't think that may not be simping. But I think it's simping only when you don't get anything in return.
So, you're the oldest, right?
The oldest of whom?
Of your siblings.
I am the oldest, as far as I know.
Have you ever, maybe not with a brother, but even a little cousin or whatever, have you ever noticed simping kind of peeking out and had to say something?
Not in my bloodline, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I have to say that, my bloodline is pretty premium.
You got royalty in the DNA?
You know what I mean? It's inside my DNA. I don't know that I've ever seen any of my siblings, at least not on my father's side. I have to think about on my mom's side.
And you would say something.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's a different there are things that there are things that you don't have to do, and a lot of it has to do with just the confidence. And I think those simps lack confidence.
Right.
They don't lack the belief in themselves, and so in order for them to have someone believe in them, they have to compensate by being overly generous with their wealth or whatever. Hey man, I got, because I'm like, yo, this my fam. I can't let y'all be out here simping. Like, for example, if I felt like Dad was out here simping, I'm like, come on, man, you two, nah, man, you know where you from. You know whose nuts you came from. You can't be out here simping. You know what I mean? Sack bros. So I mean, I gotta look out for my brothers. Like, don't do that, my guy. You know what I mean? So, I can't say that. I've had friends, but I can't say that for siblings. Now my little sister, I did have to kind of check my little sister a little bit. My mom's did, but I kind of had to reinforce that. And it's that, it was a guy that she liked, and she wanted to buy him this jacket, and I'm like, you ain't got to do that. You got to, in this world, for these average dudes that you come across, you don't have to do that. You are a very beautiful young lady, and you have, and within this dynamic, you have the power. Now, once you elevate and grow, to a certain capacity, certain echelon that I have found myself in, it's like, yeah, but no, you don't do that. You don't have to do that.
Wise
Especially
words.
as a woman in this, you don't have to do that at all. Don't buy that nigga. Now, if it's your dude, if it's your boyfriend, if it's somebody that you're actually in a relationship with, I feel like that's a little bit different. But because you like him and y'all don't have any really regular communication or any intention of being together, nah, I can't let my little sister be out here simping like that. I have to teach her the game.
All right.
You know how sometimes simping happens too? Is when they feel like they're at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That maybe a little simping might nudge me over. It's like I'm just about to get the draws, and then it's like, oh, my water bill is due. Well, let me get my credit card. Let me get my credit card.
See, and sometimes it's a gamble because sometimes that might be the case, and where in one aspect it's simping, and the other aspect it's being reliable.
Right.
It's being someone that you can count on, and so at times it's a fine line in between those two, between whether I'm going to be a simp real quick, and sometimes you might have to simp just to test the waters and like, okay, to push the boundaries a little bit, but other times it's like, no, I think it's all in presentation and intention. You're like,
oh wow,
I see that you're struggling. I believe you got $1,000 for somebody, but I don't think he's a simp. Hey man, $1,000 is a substantial piece of bread.
Right. Apply for student loans, I would be doing some. Yeah.
Okay. So for example, in a situation where it ended up being a woman I married, I ended up giving $1,000 to my girlfriend at the time so that she could stay in school because her parents, she wasn't in a position financially to pay for it. Her parents were in, kind of a tight situation, and so if she didn't stay in school, then she would have been extradited back to her country. And so just out of the kindness of my heart, I'm like, and I could have done something different with that $1,000, trust and believe.
Right.
But I'm like, for the sake of you being able to stay in school and continue your education, I know how important it is to you, your family, and everything else. And I want to support you in that regard. Here's this $1,000. And as much as I would have liked it back, I didn't expect it back because, I guess I was of the mindset of I don't give money that I necessarily need right back, because there's a potential that I don't get it back. And then, it caused a little rift in the relationship. But in that case, I don't believe I was simping. We end up getting married. I mean, we're divorced at this point.
Right, but it wasn't because of that.
There's a difference between simping and an investment.
Right.
Put it that way.
Right. Another place where a lot of women simp, and I just thought about it. I should have had it in my notes. Dudes that be in jail. A lot of times, dudes in jail will get women to simp hard, putting money on books, You know, because they be needing stuff while they locked up, and
Right.
and I've seen probably some of the most simping I've ever seen out of women will be like dudes who are locked up, and a lot of those cats, they have like multiple women that are like, if a man's a paymaster, what would a woman be?
A paymaster.
Same thing, paymaster
Yeah.
Ed. So, I don't know if you've ever come across in your life situations or heard of situations where women are simping on dudes who are knocked up.
Well, I have, because I was at one point in my younger years locked up for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely seen that situation. I don't even know if I could really feel like it was simping, because unless they weren't the main.
Right.
There's the main, but there's only so much. It's like you playing chess. You strategizing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm gonna write this letter and say how I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z with this other one, just so I can continue getting what it is that I need. And then in that situation, those women were manipulated by those guys, and they weren't necessarily simping, because they were under the impression that it was just them, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got the main one, who is, I'm gonna stand by my man, I'm gonna hold him down, and when he get out, where's he going? To that main one, more than likely, unless you find out that he been smashing some other chicks, because when niggas go to jail, niggas hate.
Right.
So
Right.
they try to get that box. But
I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like Shannon would write beautiful letters. if her dude was locked up.
What happened?
She would probably write the best letters for a guy locked up. I think Shannon, she's a good writer. Have you've seen her work?
I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm an amazing writer, but why am I writing? The last person I wrote to in jail was my father.
Well, I mean, if unfortunately a guy you were messing with somehow run afoul of the law, and you really dug him, I think you would write him.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I can see you would. Your letters would probably get him through his time. I'm just saying.
But see, there's a cap to simping. If you're simping to a guy or the guy that's in jail, there's a cap to that, because there's only so much you can get. There's only so much money that can go on your books per week. There's only so many. You got to worry about contraband and things of that things of that nature. Now, if you're putting a personal picture of yourself, even that is considered contraband. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's a cap to the simping as far as somebody that's in jail and or prison. Maybe prison less so, but definitely in jail. In county, you can only get so much money on your books. So it's only so much he buying from the commissary. It's only so much he getting from the snack store or whatever the case is. So
is it simping to you if the person breaks the law in the name of somebody? Is that simping, or is that just crazy?
It really is case by case basis. Like, break the law in what regard? Like, how is that?
Like, if she's a prison guard and she snuck in contraband to some dude in jail, I've heard that, or if,
that's just stupid. That ain't simping. That's just stupid.
Or if, because you want that person so bad, they may ask you to do something that's afoul of the law. Like, they may say, hey, just run this package over on 32nd Street for me. They ain't gonna pull you over. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. There's a lot of women in jail behind helping a dude.
There are. I mean, some women do take a charge, and for the sake of, or the idea of being a down ass bitch, or be a ride or die, or whatever the case is. So, I don't even know if that's simping. I think a lot of that is just stupidity. Because I think if you're simping, you are aware of what it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you have, or like it's been said here already, you have been told. You do understand that there is likely no intention of any reciprocity. I don't like you like that. I don't see you like this. Yet and still, you still want to do these things for me. And at a certain point, it's like, well, hey, man, if you want to do this for me, and I've already told you, this is what you're doing on your own volition. I'm not manipulating you. I'm not taking advantage or anything like that. Why not? But you got to be careful with that simping, because the simp strings do vary. And then you might get caught by a simp whose strings come with stalking. And
right.
Stuff like that.
I heard this once where a simp chick she was keeping a running tally of her simping, and when the shit was started going left, she broke that shit out. Like, I did this and had it like line by line, you know. So I'm like, damn. I never heard of simps taking keeping a running tally of they simping.
You know what I've done, and not in a sense of simping. Well, I guess I had the question before as far as simping in a relationship, but that's the difference. I'd kept a tally at one point, and it was for one. It was with one, but it was more so of the things that she had done for me. Just in the event that she felt like uh, she had something over me. I had an issue for a long time with people doing things for me, especially in a relationship, because I felt like it was a chance for you to feel like, well, I did this for you. I did this, so you have to do these things, or whatever the case. And so I kept a personal tally of things that were done and the monetary value. And I kept money aside so that if ever it came a chance, oh, well, I did this, I spent this much money, or whatever the case. Oh, you know what? Here you go, all that bread. Now what? You got nothing. I kind of what's that? The fuck you money.
Right.
Oh no, here's all that money back. You know what I mean? I wanted to see if you was doing it out of the kindness of your heart, or if you were doing it with an ulterior motive. And since you were doing it with the ulterior motive, then here's every single dollar on the date. If you want it, here's the dates, the dollar amount, all this other stuff. So
That's rough.
so that's I kept the tally in that regard, but that was also because I just wasn't used to people doing things for me,
Yeah.
and I was used to doing everything for myself. So even the whole simping stuff is like, I don't really feel comfortable. I really had to learn how to allow things to be done for me. Now I do think I was. I don't know if I was simping, but maybe I was. I was on some sucker for love type shit at one point in a relationship.
Me too.
To where I just would move hell and high water just to make sure that she was taken care of and it was taken for granted. And at the point where I realized I was doing so to my own detriment, I had to redirect my energies. Like, you don't even appreciate what it is that I'm doing for you. The time, the effort, even a little bit of money that you spending or whatever the case is. Like, I'm doing this to try to make sure that you are okay,
Brad,
that you
what's
are
up?
good. But you taking advantage. You taking this shit for granted. So you know what? I'm gonna chill.
Now, Dante makes a great point. He says it ain't simping if you got it. So you can look at it in a lot of ways, right? So like this. Let me ask this question. If I'm like balling rich, and where's Danny's probably the farthest from me. So Danny lives in Michigan somewhere, right?
Grand Rapids.
And I go, I want to spend the weekend with you, Danny, and I make it possible for her to take a private jet to come see me, right? Is that simping? Because that's a lot of money.
Are you fucking? That's the question.
Oh, if I'm hitting, then it's not simping?
I think it's a lot less of an opportunity or the chance that you're simping, because if she come out there, it's like, okay, we cool, and y'all in separate hotel room, and not to say that in the beginning, there's a difference between in the beginning and then there's some time has been spent. But right, I'm down with being flued out. If she get flued out and y'all not spending there's no progress as far as intimacy, and not to say that fucking is necessarily the absolute barometer, but I feel like that's the willingness to or not to, I feel like is a telltale sign.
Like, because Dante said something like, for people in another tax bracket, it may not be that big of a deal to them,
And I mean, it may not be a bigger deal, but I mean, tricking is tricking, regardless of how much it affects your pocket. You can't trick if you don't got it.
Yeah.
If you don't have some of it, you know what I mean? Like, so
if I send her Spirit Airlines, with a bat flying through the, that's not tricking, right? If I send her a Spirit Airlines flight.
Honestly, I don't think if you have it, just put it on Delta or whatever, Red Eye, whatever. Like, if you have it, obviously your experience is going to be different.
Right.
But I feel like simping is, she come out there to enjoy an all expense paid trip on you. What is the benefit for you? And it doesn't have to be sexual, but it's like, What is it that we're doing? Unless you just get your rocks off on showing a woman a good time. But I'm like, it's something else that
Right.
I don't know. Like, why you? Why not you and 20 other women if I got it like that?
Nigga, I'm sending the mega bus. $10. Tricking is getting tricked out of your money. I mean, does he know that he's being tricked until it's too
Nope.
late or something? The China bus. 3.
You don't know until you know. The dollar van. I'm gonna go ahead and get you the dollar van from LaGuardia.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, definitely when I was making less money, my thought process of what I would do in relationships and whatever was a little different, right? Because I'm one of those people that, like, I like to enjoy myself, you know, and I like to spend money on activities that I really enjoy, right? And you know, I'm frugal in some ways, and I'm not in other way. And what's up, Sybil? And the way I look at it like this is, when I'm with a woman, I try to do things that I want to do. So at the end of the day, I'm enjoying myself, especially in the beginning, right? So if I want to, you know, whoever, Shannon, Danny, or whoever, if I want to, or Marty, okay, if we doing something that costs money, number one, it's because I want to do it. It's not just to make her happy. It's like, I like that shit, you know? And I feel like you can't go wrong in that case.
That's why we're gonna meet at Botanical Gardens.
The Botanical Gardens.
Long as you bring some tacos.
You know what I mean?
So, Miss Quiet over there. Miss Quiet. So you ain't, have you ever simped in your life?
Me?
Yeah. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit.
I ain't got no money.
You,
I can't.
But I don't think it take money to simp. I feel like I was a simp in my younger days because I was such a hopeless romantic, and I would do all these like romantical, these sweet, almost kind of corny type things, and it wasn't being appreciated. They like to read the stuff, or whatever, like the poetry I would write, and you know what I mean, like I could look at you and just create this entire narrative and put it on paper and just make it sound. I'm writing soliloquies and everything like that, and it's just like, it was cool. Oh, I like to read it, but I don't really want you. I want this nigga that's over here, you know, dope boy fresh or whatever the case may be. And so I think for a little bit I did simp because I think I led with my heart way more than I should have, or and so I don't think it is solely based on monetary value.
So actions can be simping, like
I want you to cry.
actions can be simping, like if she cooks him breakfast every morning. If she, I'm not talking about they're married. If she clips his toenails, is that simping?
The clipping toenails, cooking breakfast, no, because I'm like, if that's her, that's her.
Okay.
So I'm like, if it is who you are at a certain point, like I don't think it's simping.
She dedicated.
It's only simping at a point where you realize that this person doesn't appreciate it.
Right.
So I'll give you an example of my own personal simping. I was working in a media department, and I had two computers. I had a laptop and a desktop. And my girlfriend at the time didn't need to, but wanted to work from home so that she could be home for maintenance, repairs, or whatever the case is. Now, we did not live together. I think that's important to note. I needed both computers because it was a conference going on, and I had both of these running. Well, at a certain point, I worked until I only needed one. I drove to her house. It might have been like 2 o'clock in the morning, half hour away from where I was working. Drove to her house, called, rang the doorbell. She never answered the door. She was asleep or whatever. I slept in my truck so that she can have my laptop to use to work from home first thing in the morning. And I didn't even go home. I handed her my laptop and I went directly back to work. And not only did I do all that, but then she didn't even bring me my laptop back, knowing I needed it for work. She didn't bring it back to my job. I had to leave my job to go meet her to go get my shit back. So I feel like in that, man, I was simping in that moment because I'm like, here I am trying to make sure that you taken care of, and you can't even do me the kind of the courtesy of returning what belongs to me. So things like that, you know what I mean, or that I did. I think that was it didn't really cost any money, but gas money. But yeah, I was simping on that in that regard.
It cost you time and sleep. I mean, even though you slept in your truck, yeah, no. She was not valuing you, right?
I know. I've known dudes who simp in, like you said, not monetary, but cleaning out her flower beds, and she not your woman, shoveling her snow. Doing fixing her plumbing. You're not even really a plumber. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or no plumbing. You watching YouTube videos. I know guys. This is a woman they want. They babysit her kids while she's on the date with another dude.
Oh,
I've seen a dude who did that. Now, crazy enough, he eventually married her years later. Blew my mind. I was on Facebook and saw they had married. I was like, wow.
Was he really simping? Because they married.
Well, now, yeah. I mean, I'd worked with this guy. His name was Lewis. This girl did everything to take advantage of his love for her, and including what I said. And then I just happened to be on Facebook, and I seen him, and I hadn't seen him in 10 years. And I was like, he married her? Like, wow. Like, they, and he had that goofy smile on his face, like, I got her. And she had her smile was just like,
he got me.
Yeah, he got me. Like, I had to settle with somebody. So why not this guy? That's what I read in the picture. So, but I could be wrong. Maybe she just had a bad day. But it's interesting. Like, I don't know. Like me in my perfect world, I feel like I'm definitely not a cheap dude, and I'm someone who's very giving, right? To everybody, right? To the world. I like to help people. I love to go out my way to help people in general. And unfortunately, you can't do that because people take advantage of you. And so I'm very careful about what I give out more so now than ever. Because I'm one of those people that I like to fix problems, Right. So especially if I feel like there's something that I could give that possibly can help a situation, I'll try to do it, right? But then after a while, that shit wears you down, like as a human being, and you end up, and like, I'm not even just talking about romantic situations, right? So like I've dated women who had that same kind of mentality. And I dated this one girl. I couldn't tell her a problem sometimes. Like, you know how like you young and you have your shit, man, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this or whatever. I couldn't tell her because she would try to go and do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, no, I didn't say it. You just really venting. And you're like, no, I didn't say it so you could take care of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I never felt comfortable really accepting things. And I was in a situation where I did accept an expensive gift from someone that I knew we was not going to be long for. And that was a mistake on my part. And I don't suggest people do that. But, you just got to be real careful. Some people don't give a shit, so it doesn't matter to them. But I'm an empath to a certain degree, so I do care about people and their feelings and all that bullshit. I'm like Oprah with the simping. You get a simp. You get a simp. You get a simp. Everybody get a simp. Hilarious. That does not get old. The whole Oprah bit. But it, I mean, in my perfect world, I love to just go around like and just handing out cash to everybody. Right? Can't do that.
But see, there's a difference in doing it because that's just who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had a whole breakdown to I've written out if I had
What's a
won the
simp?
lottery. I think it was like 400, 500 million or something crazy like that. Not long ago. And I was like, man, you know what I would do? Because I have an affection for single mothers, definitely single black mothers, things like this. I'm like, man, I would do, or even families to where, you know, the dude it might not be exactly where he want to be. I'm like, I'll figure out ways to help all of these people out. And in that regard, to me, that wouldn't be considered to be simping because I'm not expecting a return, or I'm not in hopes for or hoping against all hope that I'm going to get something back from them. I want to do this just because this is just who I am, where my heart is. And it's like, man, y'all, let me, you got, like Shannon, you got student loans, which let me just, you pay the student loans off. Let me give you a leg up. Let me give you a boost or something. You know, get your car paid off or whatever. Y'all struggling with mortgage, whatever. I'm like, man, I'll come through, talk to the dude, man. You can maintain your dignity and all that, but then you look like the hero to your family, and they got to know it came from me. We'll work out a situation where it's coming from you paying for this or whatever the case is, and that way you can still maintain your, you know, your, whatever the idea of manhood and like those things like that. I feel like it's completely different from being a simp. The only time you're a simp is if you're hoping against all hope in most cases that you're going to gain a result that is not likely for you to get.
No, real quick, I was, I don't know why this one was up. Simping is when a guy or girl is sprung on someone or something, and they kind of overdo it. Sometimes financially, sometimes with gifts, that kind of thing. And honestly, you can kind of simp on someone to be your friend. I've seen it where they just want to be part of the cool kids or whatever. So, you know, I've seen it. Not romantic simping. So I've seen it, you know, and a lot of times in relationships, there's a giver and a taker, right? It's very few times where it's equal, right?
Platonic simping.
platonic simping, right? It's real, man. You know, like it's some real shit. Like I want them to like me, so I'm gonna do this or that, you know. It's the best kind. You know, it's like sometimes when people want to be in your orbit and they're willing to pay for it, you know? So, you know, simps come in all kind of things.
Where they at though?
Simping is predicated on attention. That's really what it comes down to.
I'll take one.
Yeah. So, Shannon, since we've been talking about simping, what you been thinking?
What am I with?
What you been thinking about this conversation?
Where I'm gonna find one at though, so I can go and pass them this their loan service and account over.
You funny.
Now, all paymasters are not created equal.
Right.
There are paymasters out here that will pay everything you need to pay, but you're gonna have to do something strange for that piece of change. So you definitely gotta. It's paymasters everywhere, but you just gotta know what circles to run in and who to get involved with. Because I mean, somebody might just want the socks off your feet. Just to mail me your socks so I can smell you. I'm gonna send you some shoes. And what circles to throw it in. Right, worn draw. Yeah, you got dudes that'll pay for all that, man. You know what I mean? Or simping. I think these IG models that what is it? The sites that they have, like you gotta pay me for Cash App me for the nudes. So Cash App me for OnlyFans, there we go. And Patreon and all the other type. I feel like most of them dudes are simps. The dude that'll send you $200 just because you put your cash tag on social media, that nigga's a simp.
Right.
I don't know what that's about. Like, are you trying to launder money? What's happening like that?
Man, I'm in the wrong field, I guess.
$40 simps. That's a different echelon. That's a little bit lower class.
I need like a $400 simp.
$400?
Exactly.
What about $400 on layaway?
Oh, layaway.
layaway sipping. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's interesting. you know, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that is DD Simpin. There's a lot of people out there who are lonely people, unfortunately, and they. Oh wow! I did not know that.
You didn't know that's the hood price? Yeah, that's the hood price. Like
$40. Oh, okay. And you know, sometimes that might be cheaper than going about it the traditional route. so they may not be stupid, but you know, you're gonna pay one way or the other. So, but you know, there's a lot of sad and lonely people who are looking for, you know, they're looking to buy love or friendship or whatever. And unfortunately, you know, it is sad. It's kind of sad that some people feel like they need to do that. And, you know, God bless those people. Book bags and school supplies for your children. Yeah. You know, there's some single moms out there who they know how to find them simps, you know, and help the kids, you know, start college funds. Right. And then there's the ones who know how to get a guy to take money out of the kids' college fund to give to them. So, you know, they all over the place. I had a man offer to pay to see my nipples for $50. Golly. For a nipple? Or, well, she said nipples, so.
Yeah, double that. Might have to have a conversation.
Hey man, it's dudes. I had a dude proposition me, and I just didn't know how to really like. This is uncomfortable, dog. Like I'm not a bad bitch. Leave me alone, my nigga. Like I'm a whole grown ass man.
This is 33% of women go on a date for the free meal. I had a chick offer me $250 a week for pics of my feet. Damn.
Yo, so where she at? So
I know.
We got like the same feet. We got the same feet. I will send that, man. What?
$250 a week. Wow, that's
our feet look alike, my guy. You know what I'm saying? We came from the same sack, my nigga.
Oh wow, man. Damn.
Just send her. Matter of fact, just send it your feet and act like it's mine, my nigga. Something. I don't know. I'll take that $250.
She got a homie. Wow. All right, so Free, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Social media, you can get me at Free For Real. That's on Twitter, Instagram. That's really where I mainly reside. So that's FREEPHAREAL, Free For Real. And I got a couple other ones, but that's the main one you can find me at.
All right, Free For Real. And what about you, Shannon? And when's your next show?
IG, Twitter, and Facebook. Shannon Ford, like the president, Jefferson, like the president. I don't know what my next show is going to be. If my workflow does not slow down, I'll be discontinuing for a while. But I plan to return hopefully this upcoming Sunday. It's supposed to be Boss Month, Women's Boss Month. We're supposed to be interviewing women who are bosses. So we'll see. But yeah, that's about it with me. What about you? How can we get you on social media?
All right, so you can get me at Kente F. Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm going to do my Andre thing. Wait, do I have it?
Oh, you're going to do what Andre does?
Yeah, there you go. Bam. Uh-oh. Did it come up? Obviously, I suck at doing this.
I don't see it. And the face
there you go. All right, you can get me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson on Instagram, and the website is indyradio.org, indyradio.org. And then also, so this is Mars Venus week. We will be on all week except for Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be a great show called it's called No Prospects for Punani. We're going to be talking about incels. Brooklyn's supposed to join us. I'm going to try to get one other person to join us and have this conversation. We're talking about dudes who literally, and they would fit in the simp category, dudes who just don't have any prospects to get laid or have a woman. And these dudes, they need the blood of Jesus to come on them so that they could have a chance with a woman. We're gonna talk about these guys specifically. And Thursday we're gonna do moral dilemmas. Askia is gonna be on that show. Some of y'all know him as Rico. I would like to get a lady on that one as well. I'll reach out to you. And then this Friday, and this is all at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. This Friday, we're going to be blessed to have Stephanie come on. And not only is she going to share with us about her new YouTube channel, she's going to give us, fellas and ladies, tips and tricks so we can get our swag up. Okay? So just think about this, guys. You're going to have Stephanie coach you on how to get women.
No botanicals.
Right. She's gonna tell us. She's gonna tell us what kind of aftershave that might help the process. What kind of what's some great spots to take, ladies. Stephanie gonna bring it, and she's gonna also tell us about what her channel is. So not X. No, not X. But she said something. She said strippers like X because, she said something about. I'll say in the after show. She said something about strippers like to use X because it's good for stripping. So I'm gonna let her reiterate that. But that's all this week. So we'll be on tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to it. And once again, thank you everybody for coming. God bless, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your night.
Why are you making those big eye faces?